Hey there, I'm Sarah Zarella, a portrait and wedding photographer and your host for Wedding Secrets Unveiled. This is a podcast where we cut through the complexity of wedding planning, leaving you with everything you need to know directly from the industry experts. If you want to simplify your wedding planning while having fun, of course, you came to the right place. Join me while I guide you through your planning, starting from your engagement to your big day when you say, I do. After photographing for over 20 years, I am sharing with you tips and tricks to cut through the excess noise. Because I believe from the moment you said yes, your planning experience should be a magical time in your life. Here you'll find episodes that are fun, stress-free, and straight to the point with a fresh, honest take on the reality of what you really need to know about planning your perfect day. Let's dive in. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So today I have Jenna Hughes, who is the owner of Makeup by Jenna and Company. So, are you anything like me where you don't wear makeup, don't even know where to begin, or never really do a full face of makeup on yourself? Or are you the opposite and you love makeup and you always wear makeup and now it's your wedding day and you don't know exactly who to hire or what to do to put so much trust into someone's hands, right? So no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, this is definitely the podcast episode for you. Jenna and I are going to just basically talk about makeup and a little bit of hair too. We're going to talk about myths and trends, do's and don'ts, where to get your inspiration for your wedding day. We're really just going to break down everything that has to do with makeup on your wedding day and then a little bit of hair. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Jenna, and hopefully you learn a little bit. Welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sarah Zarella, and today we're here with Jenna. Hello.
Hello. Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. So, Jenna, to our listeners, let them know who you are, who you serve, and what do you even do in your business?
Well, my business is Makeup by Jenna and Company. We are a team of 10. I am the lead makeup artist, and then I have lead hair specialists. We typically do more upscale weddings and professional photo shoots. Those can encompass people that are just starting out a business and really need to get their marketing piece up, or it can also be $1 million business. So it definitely varies in the types of businesses that we serve. And a lot of weddings. I will say a lot of weddings.
So how long have you been doing this for?
This is my 9th year, and next year is my big 10-year anniversary in October, and I'm so excited.
Yay! Are you doing anything special for it?
I will be. I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Well, people are going to have to follow you and find out.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into this.
Yes,
right?
Let's dig in.
All right. So, for starters, I think it's fun to mention that you actually did Dan Phillips, our producer over here's wedding, right? Lovely.
Yes.
Dan the man, I call him.
Yes. When he emailed me, I was so like, what? Like me? I was just so honored that he asked. And his now wife, Brittany, is such a sweetheart. She really is. And I was just so thrilled to be there.
Yeah, it was a good wedding to kick off the season.
It was. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. So there's
Dan the man.
Dan the man, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, with that said, I would love for you to start getting into some like myths, bust, tips, tricks when that has to do with beauty for your wedding day.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start rapid firing with you.
Rapid fire.
All right, here we go.
Let's do this.
All right. Talk to me about airbrush.
Okay.
What's going on here?
All right. About to, and I will preface this by saying that every artist, has their own style, individual preferences. These are mine. I've been doing this for 9 years. I've had, a lot of experience in corporate production and also with weddings. So that is where I stem, my personal preference from.
That is your disclosure. There you go, right?
That's it.
That's your fine print. This is your point of view.
Yes, now we can cuss and discuss.
All right.
So airbrush versus traditional makeup. and I'm such an honest person when it comes to, like, if you ask me a question, you're getting 100% the real deal. So here's the real deal. Airbrush and traditional foundation, the only difference, and I'll break it down a little bit more. The only difference is the medium in which you're putting the foundation on somebody's face. With traditional, you have a brush or a sponge. Please don't say fingers, because we just cannot do that. And then with the airbrush, you have a gun, more or less, or sprayer, some people will say. It's just how the makeup is applied to the person's face. I could take airbrush makeup and apply it to somebody's face with a sponge or a brush. Some people might charge more for airbrush makeup, and that's all well and good. Yes, you do need to be trained in airbrush makeup. It is a skill. So if you were, as an artist, paid extra money to get trained in airbrush makeup application, you might be able to, market to charge more. Me, I don't. It's just one set price. So airbrush makeup, traditional makeup, it's basically all about what the artist prefers. Okay. It doesn't do anything different to the person actually getting the makeup done to them.
I heard this thing, and I don't know. It just, this, again, we're saying that this is just your opinion, right? But I heard another opinion from another makeup artist, because I was asking them, because I used to see, oh gosh, this is going back many years ago, maybe about 12 years ago, everybody was doing airbrush. Everybody. Every single wedding that I went on was airbrush. And now I see a mix, and I actually am starting to see a trend away from it a little bit. And I just was asking her, and she said that, and again, I'm just curious. She said that actually that they were finding that ever since COVID, so I don't know if like production or something, the materials that the people are using, they're saying that the airbrush was not coming out the same. Like it wasn't staying on the same, or it wasn't the application. I mean, maybe that was her particular brand that she was, using. So she stopped using it. She just said that something changed in the component of it. Have you seen that at all? Or is that just her opinion?
There's different types of airbrush makeup, just like there's different types of traditional foundation. And there are water-based, oil-based, silicone-based, all different types of airbrush foundation. Now, depending on which one that artist used, you might find that it didn't look as great on 4K or whatever the production was using. That very well could be the case. But if you have enough experience, you would know that you have to go in and have a perfect face no matter what. Like, I'm going up to your face and making sure that is absolutely perfect. And I don't say perfect as in perfect as how I see you, perfect as in you. Like, that's you. It just got to be perfect. And if you have a water-based foundation, that's really not going to really stick as much. You have lights, you have a lot of lights, as Dan it can attest to. There's a lot of lights, it gets hot, you're moving around, people are nervous, people have anxiety about being filmed, all that. You need something that's going to stay.
Got it. Well, all right. How about another situation? What's going on with mineral makeup? I remember there was a whole thing about it would flash and whatnot. So talk to me about that.
Okay. So this is actually scientific, and it has to do with zinc. And off the top of my head, I might be a little incorrect about this, but it's all about the chemical reactions of zinc and I think it might be oxide. But when you put zinc and a couple other chemicals together, it causes flashback. So the mineral makeup, I don't use mineral makeup, to be honest with you. I just feel like it's just not for me. So I don't really have too much experience with mineral makeup. People have brought mineral makeup for me to apply, and I just say, no. We got to use silicone-based makeup. But yeah, it has to do with the chemical reaction of zinc and oxide and all that. If you have those two together and you apply it on somebody's face, you're going to get flashback. And that is super important to know as an artist if you're going to be on production, that is going to happen. Because you do not want to be that person to mess up all those photos.
Mm-mm.
No, absolutely not.
All right. So another question for you, right? Since we're just doing this, I'm just gonna fire questions at you.
Firing.
And obviously, always too, if you think of anything that listeners might want to know, just let me know too. But I'm just gonna keep firing questions away. Right?
I love questions.
Okay, great, perfect. Talk to me a little bit about lashes.
Lashes. So lashes are definitely a yes. A yes. 100% I'm team lash. If you don't have lashes for, let's say we're talking about a wedding, is it the end of the world? No. In my professional opinion, will your eyes stick out as well as not wearing them? No, they won't. Because in reality, when you have a professional production or anything that's being filmed for like celebrities, they're wearing false lashes. They need to have dimension come out on the camera. And if you don't have the sculpting, the lashes, you're just going to look one-dimensional. And who wants to watch somebody that's one-dimensional? It's boring.
Yeah. No.
And it's not true to life either.
No. And I mean, lashes just go a long way, for also too just aesthetically for the pictures.
Yes.
Because you're really doing makeup for two reasons. You're doing one for the way you look that day, but also two, you're doing it for your photos.
Right.
There's two reasons why you're doing your makeup that day.
Yes. And for some people's eye type, lashes actually really open their eyes up. If somebody has more hooded eyes, or they say to me, I really want my eyes to pop. I hear that 9 times out of 10. I want my eyes to pop. Well, if you want your eyes to pop, then you have to do what's necessary to make them pop in photos. And you have to have some sort of lash, whether it be a strip lash, which is, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You put it on one strip, it's done. Or we can also do the individuals. And I offer that when somebody's a little bit hesitant about doing lashes, but they do really want the look of the lashes. So we just put little bits of individual lashes at the ends, or however they feel comfortable.
What about people that already have lash extensions?
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you brought this up. Okay, so there are people that are lash artists, and they do a wonderful job. Their goal is to make your eyes pop with lashes, and that's it. No makeup, no nothing. Their goal is to give you beautiful lashes. They have their own ways of doing it, styles. There's different styles of lash extensions, but there's also different, people have their own ways of doing it. So you might go to one lash artist because you like their wispy effect, or you might go to another one where they have really thick, heavy lashes. So it's really, they're coming to me, say for instance, with lash extensions on. And that artist has already decided the tone of their face.
Okay.
So if they like lashes that are really thick and dense because they're not wearing any makeup during the week, and that's their go-to, the lash extensions. But then for their wedding, they want to look natural. Well, those lashes are not going to go with the makeup. So I'm basically like swimming up a river. Like, I can't have huge lashes and have natural makeup at the same time.
So would it be best just to say remove your lash extensions for your wedding day?
I have a prep document that I send to my brides, and I explicitly say I would highly advise against getting lash extensions. If you do, if it's something that you have to do, then I personally have to tailor your makeup around those lashes.
And that's what the trial's all about.
Right.
Which we'll talk about trials a little later in the show. All right. So you mentioned something about eyes and the lashes setting the tone. Obviously, there's different looks. And forgive me because I am not a makeup artist, right? So I might be using all sorts of different wrong terminology. But listen, I'm just your common person over here, right? Which most of the listeners are. I've been noticing. So you say look. So I guess my other terminology for that would be trends, right? I mean, I've been noticing that there's a certain trend that's happening right now currently, and that is people. Now, that's not to say that everybody's this way, but people want to look like they're not wearing makeup, right? So they want that natural look, but I mean, obviously they are. But then I also remember like that smoky eye was really popular at one point. So talk to me about it. Is the smoky eye so popular? Is that natural look just popular? And I'm just happen to just see my demographics that way. And also to talk to me about trends and like what affects that. I know it's a lot of questions coming at you, but I'm just curious, like, what is on trend right now? What affects that do you see? And talk to me a little bit about that natural eye look that I'm seeing with my couples at least, and then also to that smoky eye at one point I was seeing a lot of.
Oh, right.
A lot. Like, a lot coming at you.
I will say that celebrities really dictate a lot of the trends. And it really is who's the hottest celebrity. For a long time, Kim Kardashian was single-handedly influencing everybody's makeup.
So a lot of times when people got in that chair, you just kept seeing Kim Kardashian's pictures.
I would see Kim Kardashian's picture, or I would see a makeup look. Because I'm a makeup artist, I
where the looks
tell
are
what the
from.
looks are similar. I'll see a makeup look that's very similar to something Kim K would wear.
Okay. Yep.
And the thing about that is Kim Kardashian, beautiful as she is, and Mario, who is obviously her makeup artist, wonderful artist, they are applying makeup for photos and video. Now, we all can look at Kim Kardashian and be like, wow, she's beautiful. But the average bride, my clientele in particular, that sits in my chair is not comfortable wearing that type of makeup when it's actually on themselves. So it was very different when you have a lot of women that want to look like themselves, but they love the idea of being glamorous like Kim Kardashian.
Well, you're saying that when you were putting it on their face, it was too much for them. Is that?
I would say just to let you know, and kind of I have a consult.
She's overly done.
Yes,
right, okay,
I would break it down like this. I would say, for example, she had a really dark, like, maroon shadow on.
Yeah.
They would like the look, and in the photos, as you know, there's like a lot of flash. I would say, okay, that eyeshadow, I'm going to swatch it on my hand, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like in person. And that's how you would get that look. And sometimes when I do that, it's like, oh, no, that's way too dark.
Way too dark, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, then we can build a look that's natural, pulling, like, inspiration from Kim Kardashian. But are you going to get the same look? No, because I don't think you're going to feel comfortable. And I would say that to somebody that doesn't wear a lot of makeup or doesn't wear makeup at all.
So see, I was seeing it then, right?
Yes.
So I mean, I may not know what it's called or where it stems from, but I was definitely seeing. Now, there's always exceptions, and like you said, different people's eye shape might require that smoky look to like really make it a wow effect or whatever is needed. But I was just seeing right now the trend that you're seeing is people are looking like they're not wearing makeup, but we know they are.
Yes.
I mean, I know they are. I see you do it. So what's dictating that? You talked about Kim K was the one that did the glam. Where are we getting now for celebrities?
So I'm just going to use the most recent one. So recently there was a wedding, and it was somebody from Rhode Island who got married, and they had a beautiful, timeless, natural, now when I say natural, we all know she was wearing makeup, natural, polished makeup look. And I think that's really going to influence a lot of brides for 2025.
Okay, but here's the thing. And I know what wedding you're talking about. For the listeners, we're talking about Olivia's a wedding that she just got married in Rhode Island this past summer. And she's Rhode Island local, so that was like a big thing here. And, you know, we are in New England. We do tend to drive some trends over here in the wedding world, right? We're right outside the city and all that fun stuff. But I know the stars are on the other coast, but we are the wedding mecca over here in New England. But with that said, I got a question for you. She's just a naturally beautiful girl. So when you have somebody who wants that natural look, and maybe, she's just stunning, okay, so she doesn't really need a lot of contour is what you call it, right? I guess my question is, what do you do with somebody, right, that may need a little bit more zhuzhing on their face, right?
Yep.
But they want me to look natural. Like, where are you going to go with this? Because I know who you're talking about. She's beautiful. Like she doesn't really need much makeup.
So, for somebody that is in the spotlight and very beautiful, known for her beauty, yes,
that's why she's famous.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. She is very naturally beautiful, 100%. But her without makeup, she still needs a full face of makeup for the cameras and everything.
Very interesting. Okay.
100%.
So that's a full face no matter what.
Oh, all day.
Okay.
All day. That is a full face of makeup. That probably took Mary Phillips, which is the artist that was doing her makeup that day, probably took her like 2 hours. Now, do I know exactly Mary's timeline? No, I don't. But that was not a quick thing.
And you know what? I think it's important for the listeners to know that, like, you might want to look natural, but it's still a full face we're dealing with.
100%. Mm-hmm. And I say that to potential brides. You might think that it looks like it wouldn't be a big deal.
Well, just look what I just said to you. I said, she's beautiful. She's known for her beauty. That's how she's famous, is she's a beauty queen, right? She's known for it. And I'm like, oh, she doesn't need much makeup. I literally said those words. You're like, honey, that's a full face right there.
Yes,
right?
100%. Yeah. Like, even, let's take, for example, J-Lo. J-Lo is a beautiful woman without makeup. But to give her that wow factor, she's wearing a full face of makeup.
Hey, listen, so I'm going to put you on a spot really quickly because you just mentioned J-Lo. What are you seeing for stars that people are coming to you for their wedding day? Not other stuff that you kind of do, which is, obviously fashion shoots and whatnot. What stars are you seeing that people are coming with their looks? And just quickly give me a rundown of, like, why. Just, for the listeners who are trying to think about their look, maybe give them some inspiration of who they can go to. And then also, too, is this a weird question, but can you take, like, a star and tell, like, a popular star that you see, and tell me what that makeup artist is doing to their face, for their full face, to give them the look that we like? Mm-hmm. I'm just curious. Yeah.
Let's start. For example, this past wedding that I did, it was the mother of the groom in my chair, and she handed me a picture of Demi Moore.
Oh, okay.
Now, it wasn't a young Demi Moore. It was Demi Moore right now.
Okay.
And I loved it. And the reason why I loved it is because it had she had the same bone structure as this picture, same hair color, and same eye color, which is so important.
Okay. So, breaking down this question now for the listeners, because see, I don't even know myself. I'm someone who doesn't wear a lot of makeup, so your trade really fascinates me a lot because I work with people who wear makeup. That's what I photograph all day long. And so it's just really fascinating to me because I wish I did know and understand makeup more and I could put it on myself, because I do love when people do my face. But with that said, so it's really important, if I'm understanding what you're saying, if you're looking for inspiration, try to match somebody that has your same features. Doesn't mean it looks like you, like you said, same eye color, same hair color. Look at their bone structure is what you're saying. Is that the makeup artist for success?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And this is also funny that, you bring it up. It's something that I put in my wedding preview prep guide. I request inspiration photos of looks that have your same eye color, similar skin tone, similar hair color, because hair color, eye color is so important when I'm building your makeup look. Like, if you have brown hair, very dark eyes, and very light skin, and you bring me a picture of, let's see, Britney Spears, there isn't anything that I can really pull to give inspiration to your makeup look, because we're not dealing with the same type of tones.
Makes sense. Okay, so now going back to what you were saying. So your mother of the groom, you said?
Mother of the groom.
Brought you Demi Moore now.
Brought me Demi Moore now.
Okay.
And I looked at her and I looked at the photo and I said, I can 100% give you this look. And it's not because she looked like Demi Moore, but because she had the same tones as Demi Moore, which was really important.
Okay.
She wanted her eyes to pop. She had green eyes, and Demi Moore, in this particular picture, looked like she had more of a green eye going on. And we were able to do that by putting like mauvey berry tones on her eyes. So it's really important that inspiration photo, we have to have realistic expectations.
Okay. So that makes sense then. So it's not, when I was saying like give me a star that you're seeing a lot of, you're seeing a lot across the board, but you want to just make sure it's like realistic to them.
Yes.
Look for stars with your own traits in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is going to really, really help your artist in building your makeup look. So going back to your question, am I seeing a celebrity that keeps coming up? And when I was talking about Kim Kardashian, I was actually referencing a star that would come up more for the bridesmaids. It's not particularly something that my clients would bring me. That being said, when I am your makeup artist for your wedding day, I am sending you documents to go over and kind of coach you for success for your wedding preview. And the reason why I don't see a lot of the same celebrities over and over again, because I'm advising my bride to bring in inspiration photos that have similar skin tone, same hair color, similar eye color. And those are the photos that I can build their makeup look off. So it's not just bringing in a celebrity picture because you like their makeup look. No, this is your wedding day, and I take this extremely seriously. So I need to set you up for success and set myself up for success and have the best possible outcome when you're bringing me the inspiration photos.
Perfect. So, I mean, basically, from what I just learned from you is that they have to do a little bit of homework, and they have to just try to find people that their features mimic their own. And then it's a recipe for success.
Yes, because if you don't, then you don't have realistic expectations. And with social media and with editing photos, you get caught up in being this perfect person that isn't really you.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about that perfect person that people are seeing on social media and those types of trends. And we're gonna dive into that a little bit and like the do's and the don'ts.
Okay.
All right?
Awesome.
I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you like what you're hearing, I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. And don't forget, you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you left a fabulous review on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support. And now, let's get back to the episode.
Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about makeup trends and how the stars are dictating this, and we started to touch upon it, but now we're really going to dive in. the don'ts. Sorry, we're gonna do it, right? Like, so people are bringing these pictures to you, right? This perfect look, and we're all not superstars out here. So what are some don'ts here?
All right, so I'm gonna once again preface saying I am a more polished, natural, red carpet type of makeup artist. And that's just
your style.
Preference. That's just my style.
Yep.
You have Picasso, you have Monet. People love Picasso, people love Monet. Doesn't make either one of them better than the other.
But if they're looking for that style, that you tend to get people with that style because that's what you focus in on. I get it.
Right.
Yep.
So, the don'ts. Don't pick a picture of makeup because you like the way it looks on somebody else. You have to focus on, will I feel comfortable wearing that look? I mean, would you? Like, for Kim Kardashian, say, let's just throw her name out there one more time. Let's say you really like this Kim Kardashian look. But do you, first of all, wear makeup on the daily? Do you, second of all, do you wear foundation? What is your comfort level? Because on the wedding day, you want to be 100% comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, then you're not confident. If you're not confident, then you're not happy. And happy bride, happy life. So we want you to be confident and comfortable. And if you're not comfortable taking it up a notch to get a certain makeup look, don't do it.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now they have their look. You've coached them through this. They found the proper people to show you their inspiration, right? How do they show up that day? Like, what's some don'ts and do's there? Like, they're okay, so it's time. It's game day. How are they supposed to be showing up for you?
So, and this is obviously, I'm a professional makeup artist. We have professional hairstylists, and there's certain ways that you need to be showing up to your wedding day, and not just the bridesmaids too, whoever is getting services. And I was saying that it might seem like, because we're makeup artists, if you show up with some makeup that, they're going to be able to take it off. Of course, I'm be able to take it off. But if you're wearing, for example, like waterproof mascara, and some women like to lay it on thick, it's going to take me a good 5 minutes just to chisel through that. And I'm not trying to yank your lashes out. So I'm going to take my time and properly take off your mascara. And that's, eats away at the time. We have 45 minutes to perfect your skin and your makeup look. That's the time that we have.
And you're right. When you're dealing with actual wedding days, it's very important to be on time with your hair and makeup, because that basically sets the tone of the entire timeline. It's a domino effect. So, Yep. I mean, other than obviously your ceremony, which is a hard start time. But the thing is, that can cut into, if you're running late, then you might not be able to do certain pictures. You might not be able to go certain places, or there's a lot going on because you have to show up on time on your wedding day. And if you're not on time, then there's a lot of frustration going on.
Yes.
So that 5 minutes of just taking off mascara, that's a very valuable 5 minutes.
Yes.
So basically, you want people to show up with no
makeup free.
Makeup free.
Makeup free. Not a stitch of makeup on your face, because I want to get right into the first thing that I do is I start prepping your face. I'm going to clean your face regardless, because I want a perfect canvas, but you have to show up. I'm assuming you're going to show up with no makeup, because that's the instructions that I sent the bride, and those instructions are given to everybody that is getting their services. So right off the bat, I'm going in, I'm starting to prep your skin.
All right. How about hair?
Hair, you want to, the old myth of coming with the dirty hair, you just threw it up in a bun, you haven't washed it. No, we don't do that. It's just a really, really old myth that is not true whatsoever. You want clean, freshly washed hair. It might be a little different if you are the bride and you are wearing your curly texture. assuming that you have curly hair. It's a little different when you're dealing with someone with curls.
All right. Okay. So now we have them in the chair. We have a look. All right. So talk to me a little bit about, we talked about eyes. Talk to me about lips. I'm curious because obviously we're talking about wedding days right now. So, I mean, because obviously there's always those other, because I just think a lip color can really set a tone of your look. I just personally, as a photographer looking at the finished product, if you have a red lip, that is a lot different of a look than someone with just like a nice natural lip. So talk to me about lip colors a little bit, about on wedding days. Anything you got for me with there?
I would save the bright red lip colors for a red carpet event.
That's what I figured. Because the only reason why I'm saying that is we're talking about wedding day right now. We're not talking about like your rehearsal dinner or, you know, your brunch night. We're talking about wedding day. Just a standard wedding day. Yeah. Most people want, what type of look are they looking for?
I'm getting the natural, pinky peaches, very basically natural.
Yeah, so not that
earthy
red lip.
Tones, not red lip. If anything, what's trending right now is a lot of pinkies.
Pinks, okay.
Pinkies.
All right. I was just curious because, you know, that red lip, it's really nice when you have like the proper skin tone and everything, but I don't see a lot on the wedding day.
If you are to see red lip on the wedding day, that's somebody that wears a red lip day in and day out. Like that's their thing.
Yeah.
And maybe more so in like a winter wedding, I could see how a red lip would be more appropriate because obviously you have different seasons you can have your wedding in, and with that the florals change, and you could have a lot of like greenery, and you know can tie in the red lip with that.
Or I got a question for you. What about different looks? Like, what about touch-ups the day? Like, talk to me about, I mean, the only reason why I'm thinking that is like, okay, maybe someone wants to put a red lip on at the reception, but they don't want it for their ceremony or formals, or do you not see that? And what about touch-ups? Talk to me about that. Give me the honest approach about touch-ups for you.
Okay, so that actually is quite common to go from a natural lip look for the ceremony, and then for the actual reception they want to change into something more fun, and they'll be like, yeah, I will wear a little bit more color, I'll wear like a berry, or yeah, I can try out a red lip. Obviously we would have done this at their wedding preview, they'd know how it would look, but yes, that would be appropriate for a reception switch. That would be called a second look. And at a second look, you would typically change the vibe of your eye makeup and change your lip. It can be more dramatic. And the hair, you can change your hair into pretty much anything else other than your hair that you have for your ceremony.
So talk to me about how that works, though. Like financially, obviously. You know, obviously every makeup artist is different. Every job that you have might be priced out different depending on what the needs are. But talk to me a little bit about financially. What are we looking at? I mean, I would assume it's more to do that. You know, do you have most people asking you to stay and do a touch-up? Or do you have most people say, nope, I'm good, and you set their face for the day?
In reality, will your makeup last all day? Yes, it will. But will it be good enough that your photographer can walk up to you and have super high resolution and take a picture of you at the beginning of the reception? And will it be perfect? It might not be perfect. So if you're looking for perfection, then that's when I would suggest you think about touch-ups. Now, touch-ups can vary from beauty business to the extensity of what they're doing and the level of service. For me, I'm giving you my production professional self. I'm giving you what I just gave a very, very well-known internet company. I'm giving you everything. So I'm not just showing up powdering you. I am making sure that everything on your face is not moving. You have shine. I already see it. It's already gone. Your eyebrow is kind of wearing off on the side, which is a huge thing for me. I see a lot of the times when somebody might not be as experienced, their eyebrows, they leave them kind of not filled in at the ends. And if you're a photographer taking a picture of the kind of like more of a profile side, you're not seeing any dimension over there. So it looks flat. When you're looking straight on, it looks great. But as an artist, you have to think about every angle, because as photographers, like, you're just not going to be taking a picture of them looking straight on every time. Like, that's just not how it is. You need to be making sure that that person has dimension every single way that they turn their head.
So tell me, why does experience matter? Because you just mentioned if you're not experienced, you talked about the eyebrows, but what else? Talk to me about why experience really matters. I mean, we know the obvious. I mean, with any industry, why experience matters. But in your industry, tell me, like, the big obvious of why. But then also, too, like, these little things, like you just brought up the eyebrows. Like, why else does experience matter?
So, obviously, we all start somewhere. I was once an inexperienced makeup artist. I didn't know all these tips and tricks to make makeup look flawless close up with these. I mean, you both know cameras have gone leaps and bounds in terms of how well they're picking up, like, the pores on somebody's skin. Like, it's different now. Like, you really have to be aware of how close your photographer is and, you know, what they're shooting. If I have a photographer and I haven't worked with them before, I will go onto their page and see, are they very light and airy? Are they very moody? Because that also determines the type of makeup that, you know, is going to look best on you. If you have like a natural makeup look and you're shooting with somebody that's dark and moody, you're going to look like washed. It's different. So there is definitely things that I picked up. Getting back to experience, yes, I will say I was always not 100% experienced. But now looking back, I see that it's so important. There might be somebody that is a makeup artist that will, if you put a model's face in front of them with 100% no blemishes, no discoloration, literally like a perfect face, and they put makeup on them, in a perfect world, it's going to look great. But what happens when you have thousands of people sitting in your chair that have melasma? They have dark circles that are very hard to cover. They have freckles, but they want their freckles to show. They have eyelash extensions like we were talking about. Is all those things you have to be aware of in order to really pinpoint how to give them that look.
Yeah. It's interesting when I was just listening to you, because the you know, when you said, well, you know, if they have a perfect face, you can't really screw it up, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing with photography. Like, fine, if you have consistent lighting, nice day, a little overcast, everything goes on time, can't really screw it up. I mean, you have beautiful subjects. They're happy. It's their wedding day. But, like, what happens when there is day that's going a little late? Or, you know, lighting that, you know, the clouds are coming in and out. Like, there's just with every industry, there's variables. So it was just interesting for you to hear you talk about that, because I was like, oh, I say the same exact thing. Like,
yes, it's important because the experience comes in when, and I don't mean this in a way that I have weddings that it's complete chaos. It's actually the opposite. I'm very, like, I run a tight ship. But when shit hits the fan, you need somebody that has done it, that has been through it. For example, like the hurricane that they had last year. If you had a novice photographer or videographer and this was a wedding that they thought was going to be beautiful skies, partly cloudy, and then all of a sudden, boom, a hurricane hits, you're counting on them to know what to do. Because why? Because they're the professional.
That's what I mean. It's not so much like things go awry because of our lack of planning. There's acts of God that could happen. You know, there, like you said, there's just things that could happen, and that's out of our control. Like in regards to like execution of timelines or things like that. And you need to make sure that the people know what's going on. I mean, for me, I tell people all the time, I could be 10 times better of a photographer if all I had to do was only take pictures and only go in my mind and be creative. But I'm not. I'm dealing with family dynamics. I'm dealing with bridesmaids and groomsmen dynamics. I'm dealing with timelines. There's so many moving parts. I'm dealing with when to, talk with somebody and tell them how to pose versus just being a fly on a wall and getting it naturally. So there's a lot of things that experience comes in the mix. And like you said, there's different faces. Like, yeah, it's a perfect world. You have someone sitting in your chair and they have the perfect face like we talked about with Olivia, right? But there's people that have blemishes, rosacea, melasma. There's days where they think they're getting married in November and they think there might be a cool day. But guess what? I've had weddings last November that it was hot and humid. So what do you do with your makeup when it's super hot and humid? Like, there's just a lot of different variables, I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you are not aware of all the things that can change in a moment's notice, then an inexperienced person would be shivering in the boots. They wouldn't know what to do. And on your wedding day, you could sense that. You can sense when somebody is confident as a vendor. And that's why I feel a lot of brides, when I get there, it's like they're carefree. They're not anxious because they know I have that piece. I've already chiseled out every single thing that could possibly happen. Yes, do things happen, but I can minimize the outcome of anything stressful.
So for the wrap-up question, what are some key points that couples should be asking their beauty and makeup artist companies when they're inquiring to make sure that they're actually going to be working with a professional company and to ensure that their wedding day is going to be an absolutely perfect event?
You want right off the bat to know if they're an actual professional. Like, this is their profession, they got this. And one of the ways you can do that is asking, do you have a contract? And I don't know about anybody else, but if somebody doesn't have a contract, you're not promising anything. That's it. Like, you need to have somebody that is legally bound to your wedding day and will deliver above and beyond. So, one, if they don't have a contract, huge red flag. So number 2 would be, don't follow somebody or inquire with somebody just because so-and-so said that they were great. Yes, that's awesome that you're getting a referral from somebody else. But when you go to their website and when you go to their Instagram page, do you love those looks that you're seeing? If not, if those don't represent the look that you're going for on your wedding day, move on. There's a lot of wonderful makeup artists out there who are putting out beautiful work. But, is it beautiful to you? Do you picture yourself in a look like that? If you don't, just keep looking. Number 3 is not so much artistic or business. It has to do with, do you have anything in common with this person? Do you like animals? And for example, reason I bring that up is because I like to have a lot of cruelty-free products in my kit because I love animals. Some makeup artists will have, makeup brands that are, shoving chemicals in rabbits' eyes. And if they don't care about that and you do, there's going to be some difference at your preview. And you're not going to be on the same page in terms of, who you stand for. I'm a lot about friends, closeness, family. If you have somebody in your a wedding party and there's a lot of like stress, you need somebody that's going to understand that aspect of it and realize that, family is important, and you're going to do everything that's possible to make sure that they feel comfortable on their wedding day. So a lot of it is, are there things that you have in common? Because this is somebody that's going to show up on your wedding day. They're the first people that arrive. They set the tone for your wedding day. We are the ones that are coming in and making sure you're set up for success. Once we leave, the photographers and the videographers come, it's no longer my show. It's somebody else's. So just keep in mind that it's not just somebody coming there and doing your makeup and leaving. It's usually a 5 to 7, maybe even 8-hour process. So if you don't really love the personality that you're getting at the trial preview, then that's something that you really need to evaluate, because they're going to be with you that whole morning.
I love that. That's a lot of great tips. Well, I'm so happy that you joined us on this week's episode of Wedding Secrets Unveiled. You helped our listeners become one step closer to their journey of stress-free wedding planning. Can you tell everybody where they could find you?
Yes, I have my Instagram page. It is makeup_by_Jenna_NE. And also you can find me at my website, www.makeupbyjennamua.com.
And also, too, for our listeners, I will have all of Jenna's information on our episode show notes on our website, which is on our podcast page at sarahzarella.com/podcast. And I have to say, I follow Jenna, and what I find really fun that she does a lot of fun things on her Instagram page, but I love it, Jenna, when you make yourself up.
I haven't done that in so long.
Oh, I love it, girl.
Really?
Yes, because it's just fun, because you when you do it to yourself, you really glam yourself up.
Yeah, I do the glam.
You do full glam, and like obviously we talked about like sometimes full glam is not going to be someone's wedding day look, but just as a viewer watching you as a makeup artist full glam yourself. It's fun for me to watch. Yeah, you should do another one.
Good to know.
Yeah, I love it. And you do it cute, too. She sits down, she's Jenna, and then all of a sudden she's glam Jenna.
Yep.
I love it. Well, anyway, Jenna, thank you for being on today's show.
You're welcome. I was so excited to be here today, so thank you very much.
Yay!
Thank you for listening to Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to tell you something. I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. We love photographing, while having fun, of course. Check out our podcast page on our website for our show notes, along with upcoming episodes with your local wedding experts. Listen in as we help you plan your epic event. And don't forget that you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening, so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate if you left a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support, and let us know what you think. If you know any wedding experts that would like to be a guest, we have a link directly on our website where they can let us know. Thank you for listening.